Hello, welcome back folks. Today we are going to do a tutorial regarding SimHub. It's a nice, easy program to use, but there are some pieces to learn and there's a bit of a learning curve. Some people have asked how I got certain dashes to work, so we're going to go ahead and build us a real basic dashboard. So after you get the program downloaded, you open it up. This is where it greets you to. Got all your different games here. So to build a dash, go to Dash Studio, and there's only one that I've built so far in here right now. I've built others in the past. I just had some issues that I had to reinstall, so we're working our way back. So these are the stock ones. This one's actually kind of cool. But what we're going to do for the purposes of this is build a new one. So you hit New Dash. So just to show you up here. I'll name it. And then it gets us to our studio screen. First thing you're going to want to do is go over to the dashboard button and pick your sizing. Now my tablet I believe is 1280 by 800, so we'll just go like that. Then back to the screen, and you can change the background to any color or advanced or whatever the case may be. I'm just going to leave it black for sake of ease. So one of the more complicated things to work is a dial gauge. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I know based on my other dash that I can get away with about this size pretty easily. And then we're just going to roll down the options and show you how this works. So you can change the dial background color if you want. We're not going to do anything like that today. Again, this is just more for basic. You can change the outer radius, which obviously if you're going with a larger dial gauge, probably not a half bad idea. And with this we can go to 320, it looks like. Maybe not quite. That looks like it works. We'll go right there. You can have the dial glass effect. I personally don't like it because, well, it's going on a tablet anyway, so I get the glass effect from that. And then here's the meat and potatoes right here. So you can set your maximum as high as you want. You can do speedos, tax, water temp, oil temp, pressure, you name it. You can even have it set to go based on the maximum that you're running. So kind of a neat feature. For sakes and ease of use, we'll just go to 10. Minimum, again, you can go really as far down or as far up as you want. For the sakes of this, we'll just call it zilch. So we're going to build a tack. So the value, this is where the most important piece is. So we hit the f of x, again to show you right there, and then computed value, insert property, and this is where you have all sorts of options. I mean, there are hundreds of options that you can pick from. You can search. So And it's good to look at what it actually says. So you have RPM percent, max RPM, minimum RPM, red line reached, red line setting, shift light, max RPM, and then the last one is RPM itself. Now, a key to remember, because we're doing attack, you're going to want to divide by 1,000, just so it doesn't have an issue. It's as simple as that. And then we can change our sweep angle. You can go pretty much as you want. If you go with like the sport tack style, which I believe are 270 sweep, and then change this to 90, and then it starts at dead down. You can change the tick colors, the radius, which I think I go to 300. Not quite. We'll go 295. And you can pick different images for like the needle. I'm not going to for this instance. We're just gonna get it close. We'll go like there. And just for the ability to see where it's at. And you can change the way these tick sizes are too. So if you want them bigger or smaller, certainly can. And you can change how many ticks there are. I mean, you do it where it skips. You can. There's all sorts of options. So if we come back up, yeah, major valuation. So this is how many majors. So if you just wanted to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10, sure. If you wanted to skip 1, skip 3, skip 4, skip 5, you can do that. Minor. So if you have your major ones are the more bold line, then you have your middle line. I think that'll work plenty for attack, honestly. So we'll do that. And you can even select the labels down here too. So you can have it just labeled with the 0, 2, 4, 6. And then we have a radial gauge, which is this yellow thing here. For this, we're just not going to use it, so transparent color, and it goes away. So going back to the label, to change where these are, you can label style, and then position radius, and then you can either use the mouse wheel or the arrows, doesn't matter. And then you can push these out a little bit. We'll go right there. And then fonts, I mean, my God, do you have fonts? So you can go start at the top, and then if you pick one, hover your mouse over it, use the mouse wheel, you can really just kind of go through it. Comic Sans. I mean, some of these look really goofy, some of them, I mean, like that's kind of strange, but some of them look pretty good. Some of them look good for other things. And I'll show that here in just a minute. But yeah, there are just an absolute ton. Some of the better ones for text on this. I mean, like this one's pretty good. And then we can up the font size. We'll go 45. See, like this looks pretty good. Kind of gives you that Audi feel. And then we can even change the font weight, which I don't think that actually did anything. Sometimes it doesn't. This one it may not. And then we can even change the color. So if you wanted to go tomato color, which actually doesn't look so bad, but it kind of looks like it's on red line the whole time. If you wanted to go blue, purple, yellow. I mean, literally it's your oyster. For sakes, I'm just going to go with white. You can use custom. So like if you're doing a fuel gauge, you can literally do full, half, quarter, empty, all those. Or on water temp, normal, cold, hot, you know, whatever you want. Again, you can skip. So this is kind of cool. So like a lot of modern speedometers will have stuff like this. I guess I can show you in just a second, but you can also do circular. So if this is something that you're used to, you can do that. You can also change the angle. For this sake, we're gonna leave it. And again, you have the radial gauge if you want. So to show you this, it's down here, and then you just change where this is at. And you can put this as far or as close as you want, honestly. I'm not going to use it. And then the next thing we have is optimal range. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put that at 286. And say you wanted to enter a red line. And you want that at 7. Oh wait, we'll just put it there. Actually, you know what we can do? And then you can literally change what each of these does. So like if you want an arc there, like let's say you want it to be green under your main line, you can. If you want at optimal, say you wanted orange, and then you can modify how that's not the right spot, it's this one. It helps if I'm in the right spot, folks. So and then if you wanted to have above that be red, so then you could do that. You could also go in here and do like red line values, like red line minus an RPM, and then it'll start before red line, and then as you get to red line it'll be there. But that's a little bit more advanced, so just to show you what it looks like. And then I think what I'll do is I'll take this out and then I'll show you on the speedometer side what you can do. So this is nice, easy tacho, real basic. So then if you were going to do a speedometer, instead of this value being RPM, you go insert property and speed. And then you can either do mile per hour or a kilometer an hour, either way. For sakes of most of the world, even though I'm in the US and we use mile per hour, I will select kilometer an hour, just because. So then we need to adjust our values here. So minimum at 0 is fine, but the maximum, I don't know, 300. I think that sounds about right. Now notice it goes really kittywampus really quick. That's fine. We can adjust this. Don't worry. And then what we need to do is find labels. Sometimes even I have a hard time. It's okay. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is adjust this down slightly smaller. And then, oh, I need to come back up. So like if you went by tens, it would be like this. I'm guessing for most y'all, it's more like by 20s. And then you can adjust the value here to see what it looks like, which is pretty neat. So if you want to show. So that's there. So every 20, and then like let's say you wanted it to show on the tens instead. So that way you get the middle like fiver. Then you can come down here and go like that. So that way you still have some space. Now I can probably make these labels a little closer. Not much actually. They're getting tight over there. But just to give you the generalized idea, and then you still have like there's your 290, your 270, your 250. It's just a little cleaner, and honestly this is how a lot of speedometers I've seen lately work, except for instead of going to 300 they usually go to like 160 because mile per hour, yo. Yeah, so this is real basic on a dial gauge. And then you can do a linear gauge too. So say you wanted to put a rev bar in. So we can change the background color for sake of argument. We'll just go black. If you wanted to have a border, you can. You can even round it out a little bit, but we'll just leave that for now. As far as our sizing, you can see it's 400 wide. You know what? And then you can adjust then if you want the height more, just like that. Then you can kind of show. So there's our rev bar again. And then you can literally have fun with this. So you got your alignment, so you can start middle, start right, start left. Got your gauge color, so if you wanted to do different color instead of red, you can even use an image. Then you have your minimum maximum value, so 0 to whatever the heck you want. And then you can even do steps. So to show this, I'll go 5 steps. And you'll see as the number increases down here, it doesn't automatically go up, and then it crosses a threshold, and then it bumps up. This is really handy if you wanted to do like an overlay over this. So this game can be very, very neat. Or I shouldn't say this game. This program can be very neat. So if you're decent with a photo editing software like Photoshop or Paint.net, you can make an image that has holes cut out. Then you can overlay that image here. And then you have a cheap and easy LCD looking thing. I've done it. It's kind of neat. And that's where the steps come in handy. So you can have it no step and it just goes based on where it is. Or you can have multiple steps and it goes up in spots. So that's kind of neat. So those are some of the most basic pieces that require a little bit of assistance. You do have text that you can, again, do just about anything you want. All you have to do is come down and put a function on it. You have quick texts, so if you wanted an RPM gauge, it looks exactly like this, but it's already predetermined with everything. And then got oil pressure, oil temp, water temp, current gear, engine RPM, current speed, your DRS, game notifications, leaderboard stuff, lap stuff. So this will come in handy when you go to enter in lap details, tire temp, tire wear, tire pressure, computer stuff, fuel, and then your race position. So those are just the quick ones. Obviously with text you can do any of those, a couple hundred different options. You can have rectangles, and you can even put a live map in, you can put buttons in, and you got just tons of stuff here. So, and then you can, just a bunch. And then if you want to put a shift light in, this will think this is set to blink when red line is reached. So it's a square light. It's a little oddball there, but you could put a circle over it. So, and to do a circle, I think it's just an ellipse. So yeah, you could literally put an ellipse over it and then modify the coloring, and then you'd have a round light. Hopefully this helps. If you'd like to see more or have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I will try to either answer or make another tutorial. This is just kind of real basic on the dial gauge and try to get you going. I'm a big fan of dial gauges myself, which is why I use them. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.